Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin, wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Anbiya'i wal Mursaleen wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, amma ba'd. We begin by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Exalted, and we thank Him for enabling us to be existing at this time of the day, at this moment of the year. As you're well aware that the month of Rajab is ever dawning upon us, and it is the beginning of what we say of our getting or rolling up our sleeves and preparing ourselves, beseeching Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to really beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for us to get ready for the blessed month of Ramadan, essentially, as it has been advised. And as you know about the dua of the Prophet ﷺ, that he used to request, make plea to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Rabbal Alamin, that bless us, Allahumma barakna fi Rajab wa Sha'ban, that Rabbal Alamin, that bless us, grant us barakah and blessing in the blessed month of Rajab and Sha'ban, and enable us to reach Ramadan. So in other words is that our exertion, our efforts in terms of spirituality, in terms of outward and esoteric and exoteric, in every aspect, wherever the deficiency lies, wherever our shortcomings are now is the time for assessment and to really get serious. You know, when this is also fortunately is that we're embarking upon April time as well. And this is the time in which university students as well will be getting serious as well. If they've been slacking all throughout the year, then this is the time when they say, hey, hang on, we've got our assignments, we've got to get that done. If there's any thesis, we've got to get that in. And then they prepare and get themselves ready for the exams. In other words, what we're doing is that now we have to now get us be psychologically, mentally focused and get ready, get our minds ready, get our hearts ready for the month, and exert ourselves with the blessed month of Rajab, for the blessed month of Sha'ban, and hopefully that we may reap fruit and blessing in the month of Ramadan. And why I say is that is the essential that you get yourself ready is that if you are here today, like the others said, is that people will benefit from Nasiha. I usually say that you have been given the greatest of Nasiha, advice from Allah and His Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, from our Mashayikh. There's no need, we have been given sufficient amount of guidances. Our lacking isn't really the lacking in terms of Nasiha, our lacking is lacking of ammals and deeds and action. That is what the lacking is. But sometimes what happens is that, like with staff and like with people who have staff and they need to encourage and motivate the workforce, you need a little bit of motivation. Sometimes people see, for example, is that you see this step here, this step on this member, is that for some people, they look at this, they think this is a mountain. This is a mountain, there's a step, it's a huge mountain, and it's a huge other thing, I can't do this, so it's very difficult. This is a mountain in front of me. But when you compare this step towards a real mountain, you think, what is that? That's nothing. I could do this with my eyes closed, it's not a problem. So it's about giving perspective. It's about understanding where we actually are in terms of what are we actually dealing with. So many of us are seeing this little step. For example, our psyche, our mentality is that for us the mountain is, I'm doing all right on the course, I'm okay, but I just don't get to tick the sheets. This is the mountain for us. It's like, you know, because why? Brothers and sisters have heard, they've been told you need to tick the sheets. You have to tick. It's like attending class. Now what's happening is that the whole reason why this, let me just tell you, is that the sheets, the books that you have, the sheets that you have, the apps, prophetic paths and the apps, and all these things are supplements and aids towards our journey. Reality is, if you are ticking your sheet or not, does that mean you should sin? If you have the app or not, does that mean that you forget to do your zikr? If you have the website or not, does that mean you forget everything that you're a person who said that, yes, I am actually supposed to be a person who's saying, actually, I am actually in need and I need Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in my life. I need the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam in my life. But the problem is that I knew that before. I knew that before. And that one stay in terms of what I'm saying is that I pray that this actually hits my heart first and makes me understand than yourself. Is that every time we hear because the reason why we don't hear, we hear but we don't hear, is because we're hearing the same thing. And we think, well, I know this. But sometimes it takes us, what we need to do is actually get ourselves out of that side that I've heard this, is actually reflect now, do pondering on this. Is that, how many years has it been now? How many years has it been? For some of us who might be saying, oh, I was only here last year. You might think it was last year. It wasn't. You have not been here last year. Then reflect. It might have been 3 years. It might have been 5 years. It might have been 10. It might have been 15, 20. It doesn't matter. Reflect. When we initially said this course of purification, brothers, if you put your head down, brothers and sisters, if you put your head down, it will take maybe roughly about 2 years, 3 years for you to complete. And then it's a matter of being steadfast. But what's happened is that we're spending 2 years, 3 years, let alone on the first sheet, but on ticking. Because we're forgetting to tick. So a perspective. We think this is the mountain. Oh my God, this is the step that we have to take. It's a mountain. We're struggling. And we're trying to find little avenues in which, is there any way we can make it easier? So why I say this is that the sheets, the ticking, the books, the apps, the website, the bayanat, the zikr. Let me just tell you, in the olden days, how it used to be, in terms of not now, I'm not that old anyway, is that in the olden days, in the Purana Zamana, in the time of the Awliya and Salihin, in the time of the previous Mashayikhs and so on, is that there weren't sheets as such, there weren't apps, there weren't any of these websites, there weren't these reminders, there weren't as such, meaning that how we getting it? Little trailers and little clips you've seen on Facebook and YouTube and so on. What was it then? What was the two things that was pivotal in which made an individual traverse and travel? And they didn't have any difficulties. They saw this step as nothing. But they see mountains and say, we can conquer it. I'm sure you must have watched yesterday, but and it doesn't matter yesterday, I won't mention anything, but it's there to be conquered. Mountains are there to be conquered, as they say. Not just leaving it there, but it's there to be conquered. So what's happened is that if you go back, is what was it that made them think, I can conquer this. This is what I want. It's because first and foremost, it's the intent, the sincere intent, the motivation, the force, driving force which is there, and then given the platform to actually accelerate in. What happens is that what we've done is that we've been given the platform which we can accelerate, but our intent and our motivation, our drive has seemed to have just waned. It's gone. So Mashayikhs would say, for example, control your gazes. Don't listen to anything wrong. Don't listen to riba. Control your gazes. Don't listen to riba. And try to reflect upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This would be sufficient for them to go to the first stage and second stage of course of purification. Just by hearing that, okay, I got to control my gaze. And it was like that because this concept, what you're seeing now is the Tareeq being developed live. In the presence of our beloved teacher, Shaykh Ahmad Abbar, there will be amendments. More or less, we've been given the set sort of assessments and tasks. But before that, before you see the sheets, and before you, this was what was said: control your gazes. Try to actually not speak in doing riba, listen to riba. Try to actually make sure that you don't eat full stomach. Try to actually make sure that you're persistently going to good places and try to make sure that you go to good gatherings. That's all he was said. Where was the sheets then? It's because the want was there. The want was there. And what's happening is that shaitan, what is the trick and that shaitan is making me and you do is that we still have that want. It's not it's gone. It hasn't gone, it's there. The fact that the want is still there, what we have to do is that, you know, when you have a want, you hear many times will and wish. Basically is that you gotta now, that wanting is that the willing has to happen, that you have to now physically actualize that want into action. You have to make that into action. So basically is that hear and listen to me. What I'm saying is that, really listen carefully. What I'm saying is that hearing me, brothers, hearing Mashaykhs, hearing anybody, it will not, psychology, what you do is that you think, I've heard this, and then you're already going to be shut off. Let me just tell you that. You'll shut off. Your mind shuts. It's a strange thing. For example, okay, I'll just tell you that, okay, here we go. We're going to do the tarjama of Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We're going to do a translation of Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So today we'll talk about the translation of Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And what happens is that what you say to yourself, I already know, but I know, Bismillah ar-Rahman, I already know. So you shut. Do you see the problem? So you should, because you say, I already know the translation Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I already know. So what happens psychologically? We shut down. We inside, in our mind, we think, I already know. So we shut the brain to actually absorbing anything that's been said. So what I want you to do now, for this little 5 minutes or so, is get yourself out of this psyche. Get yourself out of this psychology of I already know now. I've heard this before. I've heard it. Now let's reflect on this. Is that for some of us, this step becomes a mountain. But if we compare this step to a real mountain, or let's say compare this step to a staircase. This step to a staircase, yeah, this is only a step. You think going up the staircase, that's a bit long. I can take this step, I can do that, it's not a problem. And what you literally have to do is that take each day as a step. You know, for those brothers and sisters who are saying, again, take yourself out of it now. Don't think, oh, I know this. Take yourself out. Take each day as a step. The ammals you've been given, refresh. Every day is like a refreshing challenge. Okay, what are my sex exercise? Okay, I gotta do my zikr. I gotta do my muraqaba. I gotta do my sheet. I gotta do this, a bit of reading. I gotta do a bit of this, a bit of that. Take each day as a challenge, as a thing. And then, if you conquer that step, you've nearly conquered the mountain. Next step, conquer that again. Challenge yourself again. Force yourself again. It's basically actualizing and saying that I can't do this. What we're saying is that as soon as you see the step, oh, I can't do this, it's difficult. I've tried. Why are you not doing it? It's because I tried it before. It doesn't work. I know I'm going to fall into the trap again. I know I'm going to fall to do this again. I know I'm lazy. I know I'm going to actually do the same mistake as I've always been doing. There's no point of me trying. There you go. Who is telling you that? Who is saying that? Are your teachers saying that? Is Allah and His Messenger saying that? But what is Allah and His Messenger saying? What is Allah saying is that you make a mistake? How many mistakes have you got? 1, 2, 10, 100? You keep on making a mistake? What is the worst crime you can do? You killed? How many murders? 1, 2, 100 killings, let's say. Say Bukhari Muslim, what is it? That you kill 100 person? You seek forgiveness, Allah still forgive. He still forgives. That's our Rabb. He knows this. He knows that we are full of weakness and shortcomings and blemishes. That we will actually be short of these problems. He already knows our weaknesses inside out. But the servant, she should never do is that give up. Take each new day as a new challenge and see that this is something that I need to conquer and I can conquer it. Okay, you conquered it one day. Next time you may fail, but still again conquer it. Don't give up. And why I say is that this is the month in which we need to start actualizing everything, because it's the month of Rajab. This is the month in which Allah and His Messenger said is we should be preparing ourselves, training ourselves, getting ourselves and ready, getting the land ready so we can see fruits and blessings for the month of Ramadan. This is the time now. So what I'm trying to say is that from a perspective of Deen, from the perspective of Sharia, that the Prophet ﷺ said, telling me and you, every day should be like this, but they're telling me and you that for the Am and for everybody is that wake up. If you've been just lingering around and loitering around and just doing nothing, wake up, brothers, wake up, sisters, wake up, Ummah, and that the month of Ramadan is now fast approaching. Strange, isn't it, that we're saying this, but it only seems like yesterday the Ramadan was there. It's come so quickly. But now it's a reminder again, is get up and wake up and really, if you need to just kick yourself, shock yourself, wake up and say, right, now from today when I leave this, right, okay, I really want to now start manifesting these things now. It's a fresh start. Today is a fresh start. Today is a revitalization of energy. Today is what I'm going to do is that, book, sheet, app, I'm going to put a tick on there today no matter what. Take each day as a challenge and actually put that thing there and make sure you conquer it. So what the Mashayikh said, said is about the month of Rajab. What they said is that, now listen, again, do you remember what I said about intention and sincerity at the beginning? Is that sincerity isn't that you leave instructions of the Shaykh, your teacher, leave your ammals and adkars. If you're really sincere, but because I'm telling you is that it is there. Every single one of us are, to a certain extent, we are sincere. But it wanes, it weakens. Our intention just gets a little bit weaker. It's there. The fact that you hear is there. The fact that people listen is there. So don't actually let shaitan tell you is that you are actually, completely shaitanic, completely nafsanic, completely gone, completely weak, that you cannot overwhelm. You have the ability and your sincerity is there. And sometimes it weakens, it fluctuates. Your intentions and strength of resolve can fluctuate. That's fine. Accept that it can happen. But what the Mashayikh is saying is that sincerity isn't that you leave the instruction. What are the instructions? What are the instructions? I mean, Thursday gatherings, Monday gatherings, carrying with the programs, doing your azkars, doing your ammals. If you abandon all of that, then why are you here? What's the point? Because then, what's the difference between ourselves and others, other Muslims? They also are praying. They're probably praying better than us. They're going to Jamaats, praying Salah with Jamaat. They're probably doing durood and salawat. They're probably also doing zikr. But we're not even going for durood and salawat. We're not going for nasiha. We're not going for ascension or muraqaba. We're even struggling for prayers. And we are supposed to be saying that we want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We want the closeness to Allah. We want the closeness to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Something unique, because remember what I said is that a path, an opportunity has been given for us to conquer that mountain of the closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The other people, normal brothers and sisters, unfortunately, they've not been given such privileges as such. Yes, it's all sunnah, but unfortunately that people have forgotten how to actually actualize that into their life. And what Tareeq Muhammad is, basically is telling you how to adopt that sunnah, how to adopt the prophetic lifestyle into your life so that you can conquer the mountain of the qurban near to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But what's happened is that we're not doing so. Sincerity isn't that you leave your amals, you leave your zikr, azkars, rather you keep on trying. Or at least make intention of doing it. And if there's anything you hear today is that if there's anything you do today, after you go, anything, let this one paragraph settle into your heart and mind, is that you keep trying. Today is a fresh start. It's a fresh beginning. Today, month of Rajab is coming now. That's it. Today I'm going to make a new start. New challenge. That obstacle which is there, I'm not going to let it overwhelm me. I'm going to conquer it. Okay, I've been struggling with zikr. You actually, honestly, try it. Try this. Is that you put it into your head that I am going to sit now and do my zikr. You watch. You see it yourself. Feel the strength yourself when you actually sit and do it. You're going to do the muraqaba, sit and actually do it. You are going to pray, sit and actually do it and see the resolve getting strong and see how shaitan was making you seem weak. You weren't. Nafs was making you think as they don't know. You weren't. You're strong. Because when you get the resolve to do something, you cannot be actually moved. That's how strong your resolve is, your willpower is. So the seeker should use this month of Rajab to re-establish the relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah Azza wa Jal, if it has been broken. Our relation has been broken, hasn't it? We're saying, Ya Rabbal Alameen, I'm struggling with my prayers, I'm struggling with sins. Okay, our relation, our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has either been broken, it's been weakened, or it's been contaminated. It's been contaminated. It's like, I want to do this for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but I'm also doing for deen and for some pleasure or whatever. So the relation has been contaminated somehow. Or it's been weakened, or for some of us it's been completely broken. Use this month to now reconnect, re-establish. Reconnect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Re-establish the connection. The relationship which was broken, connect again. If it's been weak, strengthen it. If it's been contaminated, purify it. Free it from contamination. This is the month in which we should be doing. This is what this month has been given. Because Rajab is the month of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a nisbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And whatever you do, it should help you to reconnect, re-establish your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and your link with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is the month which He selected, Azza wa Jalla selected for His beloved for Mi'raj. Now you want to ascend, isn't it? You want to conquer the mountain. And it's like, this is the month. Imagine, this is the month. How beautiful and how wonderful this month is, because it is in this month in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala selects His beloved for ascension. It is this month. And if we are the ummatis of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how fitting should it be that we also make this month as the month in which we ascend to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's qurban ninas. This is the month. Let's get ourselves ready. Why not ascend to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Why not let us all have a uruj towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and attain His qurban pleasure and connection and strengthening our relation with Him? Why shouldn't He select you for your miraj? For you to turn towards Him. And this is the khususiyat of this month. Is that if this is the case that this was so specific to Prophet and that he selected this month for ascension, why shouldn't Allah select you for ascension? For His miraj? You got to have that sincerity and the will to do it. That I want this. I really want this. That the psyche again, I said, change that mentality and send that psychology of yours and to really, really have a different mindset. Use this month to get an even higher level of proximity. So if you were disconnected, you should be connected. If your relation was weak, you should be strong. If it was contaminated, it should have been purified. You should feel that this month, after this month, is that everything is in the plus and not in the negative, not in the minus. The resolvers come, the activities come, the sleep, the slumber has gone away, you are woken up. As they say, when the lion wakes up, that's when you know when it roars. When you can hear the roar, you know he's woken up. So anyway, relent towards Him. Weep and shed tears of regret. So now we look at what do we do? What can we do? Is that relent towards Him, is that keep on knocking at that door. What's the best thing to keep on knocking at the door? What time can we knock? What is the time when we don't need to even knock? Allah SWT is knocking on our door, literally, in one sense. So that for the sake of understanding for you to understand is that it's like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala time of tahajjud is knocking, calling. What is that we want? We want you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, I'm here. What is that you want? I'm struggling to conquer this one step. Okay, come on, I'll let you conquer this step. Let this step, I'll let you conquer the mountain. What is that you want? Well, I just have a problem ticking the sheet. What is that you want? Well, it's the zikr, I find it difficult. I just can't make the time. What is that you want? The lataif exercise seems a bit lengthy for me. What is that you want? I just don't seem to see the colors. What is that you want? I just don't seem to be able to really do the transfer. What is that you want? I just don't seem to be able to actually see fully. What is that you want? I want the love of my teacher. What is that you want? I want the love of you. Allah SWT is saying, is asking what we want, and guess what we're doing? Guess what we're doing? So it's like, imagine is that here, now Rajab will definitely understand this. Here is that the bank doors have opened, the bank and money is now gushing down, falling, and what we've done is that we shut our doors. We don't want anything. We don't want anything. And then we go, oh, I'm so poor. I am so poor. I'm so poor. Please help me. I'm so poor. But everybody is saying is that, why are you poor? Every day at this time, the bank is gushing out money for free, and you could be one of the richest millionaire. Every single day you could be a millionaire. Why are you still struggling? Oh, no, it's just that I just can't open my eyes at that time. I feel very, very tired, and it's very difficult for me. If you're really, really hungry, if you're really, really poor, but you know that money is where you can be a millionaire. If I was to tell you all, brothers and sisters, listen, is that £1 billion is going to be now gushing down from the sky tonight at 2 o'clock in the morning, right? Whoever wants to actually partake and whoever actually wants to benefit from that, make sure you're here. I'm telling you, I don't know, we'll need about a premises maybe 3 times or 4 times, maybe 100 times bigger than this. You'll see, let alone our own brothers and sisters. I think they'll invite the neighbors and friends and say, hey, you all come along and take some of the money as well. But that's what is monies and pounds compared to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy and forgiveness and His actually fadl and His treasures. There's no comparison. But He's saying that every day, He's saying that what is it that you want? So if it's the case, He's saying that I want something, I need something, I have an urge for something, I have a problem. Wake up at tahajjud and reconnect and reestablish your link with Him. Relent towards Him then. Weep towards Him. Remember Him. Praise Him. Thank Him. For He will readily accept it in this month. Those who are struggling on the spiritual path should do taubah. Method of taubah. Seek forgiveness from Him, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the shortcomings and deficiencies. Today is like, for example, do your 2 rakats of taubah, as I'm sure you've been given the message that perform 2 rakats of Salat al-Tawbah. After the Salat al-Tawbah, 10 times durood, 10 times astaghfar of Rajab, which you've been given, 10 times the third kalma, and 10 times durood sharif again. And what should you imagine is that, imagine whilst reciting the adkars, the weight of your sins, whatever shortcomings, whatever difficulties, whatever sins that you possess, is falling off with the light, falling on the light of supplication. Is now what's happening is that, imagine it's like you've been chained down to the ground, and then what's happening is that this burden of sins is just really, really gravitating to the ground. And as you're actually reciting these adkars, these chains are being released, the burden of sins is being washed and wiped, and it's like this elevation now you're going towards Allah subhanahu, because the light and the nur or the barakah of the supplication you're reciting, you're getting closer and closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this will help for you to actually reconnect, reestablish, purify your relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and help you to achieve the purpose of the month of Rajab. So this will help. So try to actually do this today at the time of Maghrib if you can, and then commence with the month of Rajab in this manner, in this way. And basically, don't let it be one of those, I heard this and that's it. No, literally sit and do. Think and conquer. Think, step, conquer it. Another step, conquer it. It's a zikr. I'm telling you, if I was to say, listen, you're here now, isn't it? Everybody, if somebody will say, for example, if I say, Brother Siraj will say, oh, Ustadh, I'm just struggling with the zikr. Okay, say here for 10 minutes to your zikr. You conquered it. That's how it is. That's how simple it is, honestly. But what's happened? Shaitan is put in our head. Oh God, I'm so busy. Why are you busy? It's like this busyness. What's happened is it's in the mind. Look, the mind is saying, I'm so busy. Why is it so busy? I got to go to work at 9 o'clock. I got to be back at 6. After that, then I have to eat. After that, then I have to actually see the family. Then after that, I'm too tired and I have to go to sleep. That's busy, isn't it? But like I said, if you're hungry and you want, and you show, what this course is saying, that you want to be unique. You want that unique relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His Messenger. You've got to do a bit of sacrifice. Find that time where you can say, no, I'm not actually busy. I have time. I'm going to make that time for Allah and His Messenger. I'm going to make that time so I can actually elevate myself towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so I can conquer the mountain towards the qurb and nearness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I can conquer it. You have time. There is no, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not burden more than you can bear. It is, what we're doing is that we're busying our mind, saying we're busy, but you see the wastage. If you don't do this, reality is, let me also tell you, last bit and I'll stop here, is that reality is, for those brothers and sisters you want to know, is that if you're not doing your ammals and zikr and adkars, you will be wasting your time. I can guarantee you'll be wasting. In fact, every single person here will say, Brother Qais, you're 100% right, is that time when you allocate, for example, if I was to say, you normally say that, okay, between 7 and 8 o'clock, you're going to do your adkars, you're going to do your zikr, your muraqaba. If you don't do that, you might be thinking, I can't do that because it's difficult. You'll be doing something dunyavi, worldly, and then you will also, by the grace, if it was something which was unintentional, that you had the time to actually recover that in terms of finding another time, another day to make up for that. If you still don't do it, again you'll be doing something worldly, or you'll be doing something which will be wasting you, and you'll be busy in that wastage again and again and again. It's not that you don't have the time. For example, it may be the fact that, okay, it's food, it's friends, it's actually internet, it's actually TV, drama, relaxation, gym, money, work. One or the other is something worldly related. And all we're saying is that, you know what the adkars is saying is that, listen, we're already engrossed in the world, and you've already given the 5-time prayer. You're supposed to pray anyway. Just do a little bit more additional stuff just to help you connect. So just find another half an hour, do that muraqaba, do that zikr, read something, take something, that's it. As simple as that. As simple as that. And if you're trying to tell me, listen, you might be thinking, no, I'm saying this to myself, not you, me. I'm saying this to myself, and if it's helping you, benefit you, I am literally here, sitting here and saying this to myself. So now ask yourself this, is it really, it is that simple? Now the nurse is saying, is it really that simple? Yes, it's that simple. It's that simple. The intent, the challenge. Don't make shaitan and nafs seem that this step is a mountain. You can't conquer it. Inshallah, we'll stop here because it's time for Fajr. So after Fajr, we'll do a short muraqaba. Maybe we'll do the sentinel. So after Sunnat al-Skad, then for those of you who have time, or if you deem as though we should do it, then inshallah, after the Sunnat al-Skad, we'll do a short muraqaba, and then inshallah we'll finish. Jazakumullah khairan. Subhanaka wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Inshallah, somebody give us that, and then inshallah we'll perform Salat al-Fajr.